Hi, I'm Karina Leeson with the Kendrick Law Group, and today with me I have Shirlette McCullough. Shirlette is a registered marriage and family therapist intern. She is owner of Center Peace Couples and Family Therapy, located in Winter Park, Florida. In addition to her work as a family therapist, she is also an author, speaker, and board member of several organizations. Shirlette, thank you so much for being here today with me. How are you?
I am really, really well. Thanks for having me, Karina. I'm excited to be here with you today to do this interview and talk about some things with you.
Likewise, I think as a divorce attorney, there's a misconception about whether I care about my clients being in healthy relationships. And I wanted to speak to that issue a little bit because whether a potential client or an existing client is in my office for a consultation. And regardless of whether they're getting information about a divorce, an imminent divorce, or maybe they're just wanting to get information. One of the first things that I always ask every single one of my consultations is whether or not they have explored the option of marriage counseling to really exhaust all avenues that would then result in them dealing with a dissolution of marriage or a divorce. So I do really care about having healthy relationships and my clients being in healthy relationships. And certainly, I'm not there to force divorce on anyone. And I really want them to work on the relationship if it can be salvaged. I know that you're very passionate about healthy relationships. Talk a little bit about your work and your experience and what you do.
So, thanks again, Karina. So, as you said, I'm a marriage and family therapist or counselor, or whichever one you want to use. And my practice is in Winter Park, like you said, and my niche is with women and with couples. So, I do see individuals as well as couples. And then when you talk about the divorce process, Karina, just now when you were saying that, I just thought about it. The divorce process, that's basically the divorce is the process that you go through to become unmarried to someone, right? But going through that process, you still have those emotions that you're dealing with from that relationship. So going through that process could really, really be traumatic for people, even if it's time to really go ahead and divorce, or if it's time to work on the relationship to salvage it, it could still be very emotional and very traumatic for a person. So I really, really like that what you said. When someone comes in for a consultation, you do ask them to bring that awareness, to their conscious of, hey, have you talked to someone? Have you talked to a professional about, is this the right decision? Is this the best decision for you? And just getting some help on board, getting some tools in place to find out if this is really what you want to do and moving forward. Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, and I will tell you, it's rare, but it has happened where I have sent a consultation to refer them to a therapist like yourself, and they have reconciled at least for some period of time, and certainly that's something that I would encourage anybody that's contemplating a divorce to exhaust all those avenues before they make that tough decision of something with that finality.
It's true.
Let's talk a little bit because it's now towards the fall of 2020, and we've been dealing with the pandemic for the past several months, as you know.
Yes.
I am curious if you've seen an increase or a decrease in clients that are seeking therapy in one form of another. And for purposes of this conversation, couples. Have you
Right.
seen an increase in couples seeking counseling?
Yes. Well, correct. That's a good question. Since around March until about 30 days ago, we had like a 35% increase in couples coming in for counseling together, as well as individuals coming in for couples counseling. Because sometimes we have couples who don't agree about coming to counseling. So one wants to come, and we still do the couples counseling for the one, to take the tools back to the marriage. But yes, Karina, we have seen a total increase. And that increase, I would think, well, from experience, that increase is because we have so much change, right now when it comes to couples. And when I say change, we have things like routines have changed. We have a lot of restrictions now. We have a lot of parents who are forced to help with the children when before this pandemic, parents were able to work as many hours as they want to. They were able to travel. They were able to be out of the house as much as they wanted to. But now with this pandemic, everyone is forced to be home. And
Right.
then with couples, when you think about that, thinking about couples who have some unresolved issues, things from the past that they're able to really avoid, they're really able to work around because of work, because of children, because of activities, because of friends. But now that
That
stuff is being,
now.
and you're forced to be home, and then you get triggered by your spouse. They do things, it triggers you, and there is the big blow up, the conflict.
Right. Right. Well, that's incredible that there's been, I mean, that's a pretty big uptick as far as business is concerned. But, on the flip side, I'm happy to hear from you what you're reporting is that people are really taking advantage of
Yes,
the services that you provide because they are so important. And whether you're talking about working on your marriage, working on your relationship, working out of a marriage, working out of a relationship. I think that counseling is such a huge component um, of that of working towards those healthy relationships, whatever the case may be. I think it's important, and the healthy relationship might be the one you have with yourself, quite
right.
frankly.
Yes,
So, I love that you really are very passionate about helping people realize their potential, whether it's in an individual capacity or as a couple. We've had so many things shift over the past months, and you touched upon many of them, and it's the change in the roles and having no real time alone. Everybody's in the house together, and so you don't have those outlets that we used to have, and they're slowly but surely coming back. But I think that we've all had to really modify and make adjustments with this change in normalcy, which requires people to really take a look at their relationships, to take a look at themselves in a deeper
yes.
sense. And, talk a little bit about how you help people do that. I know that now I think everybody's really operating telehealth by Zoom and so on and so forth. Is that what you're doing?
So until last month, again, I was only doing from March until last month, I was doing virtual sessions. And then now the office is open again, and we have things like masks. We require you to wear a mask, hand sanitizer. We use Clorox wipes to wipe down everything. So still being very cautious.
Right.
There are some people that truly feel that they can't really get a breakthrough, or it's really not beneficial for them outside of the office. And there are people who really like that office feel, to sit in the office with me and talk about the different things and process things together. There are some people who love virtual sessions, and that's all they want to do. Korea, they do not want to come into the office. And then I have some that only like the phone. They only want to do their sessions over the telephone. So we do offer all three of those uh, ways of getting counseling or therapy, whichever term that you use. But we do offer in office as well as virtual.
That's great. That's wonderful. I want to take a minute because I want to circle back to your work as an author. You've written 3 books, I believe, right?
Yes, yes. So
Amazing.
my most recent book, Karina, and if you could see it, it is this book here. And one of my most proudest moments is writing this little self-help book. And the title of it is Wink: What I Need to Know After the Breakup. So it has a lot of tips and tools in here for those that are going through divorce, those people that are going through breakups. So it's like a quick manual. You know how thick the car manual is, Karina? And
Yes.
usually when you see the manual, it's like, oh, I don't want
Yeah,
to
you
read
need
all
the
of that.
index to figure out where you are in the book. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like a Cliff Notes like type of book. It just has all the nuggets in it.
Yeah.
And
What
in
you need to know.
Yes, what you need to know. And I give you 10 steps of the different things that you need to know. And one of them that I want to talk about is number three, is the one that I usually get a lot of talk about, is that you don't need closure. After a breakup, after a divorce, you don't need closure from the person that you're separating from. And what that means psychologically is not giving that person the power for you to be able to move forward emotionally. So physically, we know to move forward, right? But emotionally, being able to separate yourself emotionally, becoming whole again, loving yourself, becoming to know who you are all over again as a person, so that when you do get ready to date again, you can present your authentic self and show up in who you really are. So that's what it is.
I think that's such a critical point too. It's almost like, people think of closure as it's almost like a sense of getting permission from the other person to move on. And
Right.
what I hear you saying is you don't need that permission. You give yourself that permission to move on. What a
Absolutely.
great nugget. That's really cool. Charlotte, if someone wants to get in touch with you, whether it's for individual counseling or relationship counseling or marriage counseling, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
So the best way to get in contact with me, they can call me at 407-230-4582. They can also go to my website, which is www.charlottemccullough.com. And they can also email me, charlotte@charlottemccullough.com.
Wonderful. And now I want to pick up a copy of that book. Where can I buy that book?
So my book is available on the website. As soon as you go on the website, it'll pop up for you. You can go to the shop, or you can just click the pop up that comes up on the website, and it's right there. And it's only $10.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's a must read, I think, for divorce lawyers and anybody that's dealing with a breakup or a divorce. I'll be sure to get a copy for myself. And if you have any family law questions that you need answered for you or for a friend, or if you're in the middle of a divorce or contemplating a divorce, please contact me, Karina Leeson at Kendrick Law Group. You can find my information on our website, kendricklawgroup.com, or feel free to email me at Karina at kendricklawgroup.com. Thanks, and see you all next time.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Charlotte, for being here.